Okay, guys. I know a couple people, well, I've had questions on molding um, the wand mix, okay? Most people don't have the plunger molds. If you can get them, it'll make your life so much easier. It's kind of on the idea of this with a plunger, but on the plunger there's like a design, and then when you plunge it, it just gives you more leverage to like hold your mix and pull up. I believe Amina's going to do a video on that. I'm going to do a video on your basic plain cookie cutters, how to mold them and insert the sticks. There's different sticks. I use this one for a pilot hole. It's sort of a skewer with a point. Then you can either use the flat, they're coffee stir sticks or popsicle sticks, whatever you want to call them, but they're long. Then there's dowels. That's what I like to use. And you can also get the paper ones. They would probably work great, but I don't recommend them because the amount of times you're going to use your wand in the water, these will disintegrate just like a sucker. So I'm going to use either the dowels today or these to show you. Touch wood if I can do it. No, we can do it. It takes finesse. Anyways, here's the mix. This is what it should be like. This consistency, it's like overly wet bath bomb mix or too dry Play-Doh mix. That's the only way I can describe it. But you should be able to grab it like this and squeeze, and it will take shape. And it'll stay, like, you drop it, it'll stay that shape. Okay, that's what we're looking for. So, let's just get started with this little flower mold here. I'm not going to put any decorations on these ones, just for show, you guys. So, anyways, you take your mix, plop her in your mold here. And I don't think I'm going to fill this one up all the way full because that may be a bit too fat. So anyways, the trick here is to make sure you get it in all the nooks and crannies and the corners and packed in there tight. And I mean packed in there tight. Corners, just like that. This mold doesn't have a lip on the top. My star has a lip. It's a little bit more of a pain, but I can get it to work. With a bit of practice, you guys should be able to do this. So anyways, you're packing it in, so it's not going to be crumbly anymore. It's going to be like a solid, sort of almost a dough-like, I guess. So anyways, we're going to pack it in there tight. If you had a shorter mold, like to about there, that would be good, because then you could roller pin the top and it would be nice and flat for you, like you would with the plunger molds. Or if you had a plunger mold, obviously you would use this to flatten it, and then if you had the imprint, you just keep pushing. But like I said, Amina's going to try to do them like that. I haven't got my plunger molds in yet, so I can only do it with the normal cookie cutters. So, we pack. Make sure you get in all these corners really tightly. This is where the tricky part comes in, is getting this mold off your mix without it breaking, crumbling, or falling apart. Which is, I guess, the same thing. Anyways, what I do, a couple bangs. Okay, now we're going to hold the mix with one hand, and I'm going to gently ease the sides up. Or I'm going to attempt to. So you just kind of work your way around nice and slow, gently. Holding the corners especially, because that's where, if it's going to break loose or crack on you, that's where it's going to crack. So I just gently pull around. You see how it's coming out just a little bit? Like I said, it takes a bit of finesse, guys, and some people don't have patience for this, so I have two boys, I have to be patient. Okay, we're almost there. So then I use my other hand, and as long as you're holding your mix down and making sure that it doesn't stick. The metal molds don't stick as much as the plastic molds. So, there we go. We're just gently, yeah, I'm losing a corner, so I just kind of push it down a little bit. I'm going to try to flatten the top anyways once I get it up. Okay, almost there. Like I said, it's not really a quick process. The plungers work 100% better. There you go, it's off. You may have a bit of, you know, funny edges here, whatever. I take my thing, or anything flat, and just kind of flatten it down a little bit. You get a couple cracks, but you just kind of fix them together. I hold this on there. I take my wooden stick, use it as a pilot hole, and I push in. We're going to go in about half, not quite half. So I keep this hand on my plunger to hold the top down without cracking. Push this in for a pilot hole. Pull it back out. And we take our dowel, don't dowel. Yeah, we'll do dowel. It's pretty fat. Using your pilot hole, just put it in as far as your other one. In there. Gently take that off. And it's in. Trick is, or the problem with these sometimes, is you can't really move them too much. I just kind of gotta slide them out of the way. So there's one, okay? This one, if you guys had the plunger molds, I'll make a thin one and show you that I can. This will be easier. We're just gonna put mix in. I guess we'll do maybe half. Yeah, it's about half. And I would pack it in more first with your hands, get it going. But you get that plunger mold in there, and it's got some great pressure. Okay, I just bent my mold. So that's nicely packed down. If you had the other plunger mold with the design, you would start it at the top because they're not as thick as these, okay? So anyways, I keep my hand on the plunger. Work the sides up. You still have your plunger on. Same idea. Take the stick, measure in about halfway, make a pilot hole, and I'm going to use a flat stick for this one because it's thin. I lost a little bit there. I'll just take my flat stick. Slide it in. Gently take off the top. Oh, and you can or should dust these with a bit of your dry mix, but there you go. It's a big sucker one. I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't know if I want to pick it up. It's kind of thin. But there it is. I'll just leave it there to dry. The star ones are a bit more tricky. I will quickly try to do one. The mix is starting to get, well, I guess actually it's not too bad. So I fill it up in there as much as I can. Get it in the corners, and you're going to be adding more because you can pack this stuff down really good. Yeah, we need more mix. I get about 3 good-sized wands from a batch, and I do not recommend doubling this batch because it will dry out on you before you have a chance to mold them all. Okay. I'll show you a little trick in a minute too. We're going to add a little bit more. Okay. Get the corners in there as much as you can. And my hands are starting to get sticky. Bubbles! It's not getting it on my fingernails, but it's a quickie wash. Okay, so we just keep packing in, and if I had my star decorations or candy sprinkles or whatever, I would put them on now, because when I push down it'll hold them in. Okay, so there's that. Same sort of idea. Smack it down. And then you're going to hold the mix and you're going to gently work your mold off. Concentrating on the corners, especially if it's a star. I know I'm going to lose the corner. I didn't pack it in there good. I guess this one's going to be ours, but maybe not. Just keep my fingers on the points, because if it's going to break, that's where it's going to break. Alright. Oh, that came off actually easier than I expected. Okay. So we got a couple little... You have a ridge. That's the thing about this mold, is you have like a ridge, a lip. So I just take my holder and I hold on it. Kind of flattens it out a little bit. And then I take a pilot hole with this.